Yo, what's up everyone? This is our final group presentation for active leadership. So as a group, we've been able to develop leadership theories that we've learned each week to grow during our weekly challenges. From our first initial meeting, to conflict, to overcoming obstacles, we've been able to learn so much from each other within the group leadership setting. So please, just sit back and enjoy.
Before we dive into the details, here's a quick overview of what you'll see in our presentation, which follows the journey you took as a team this semester. First, we will discuss the importance of understanding ourselves, as we cannot build a team without knowing ourselves first. McAdams' Big Five traits allowed us to figure out our strengths and weaknesses that we each would bring to the team. We will then walk through the challenges we faced, beginning with the early ones like the ball toss and not tying tasks. The lack of planning and confusion in challenges reflect the forming and norming stages of Tuckman's model, where we were still figuring out our roles and experiencing conflict. Then, we'll show how our group started gaining structure with the Pipe and Cup Challenge, using clear roles and smarter goal setting. This marked the beginning of the norming stage, as we saw how conscientiousness and agreeableness helped us work more effectively. As we built trust, we hit our stride during the blind conga line and paddleboard crossing activities, where we entered the performing stage and really worked as a team. We started to trust each other and rotate leadership with clear communication, supported by the self-determination theory. We'll then wrap up by showing how everything came together in the adjourning stage and reflect on what we learned about leadership. From different styles to how motivation works, and how looking into Kolb's experiential learning cycle helped us understand and apply those lessons along the way. Finally, we'll end with introducing ourselves and the unique roles we played in bringing our leadership journey to life.
First part of building a team is learning about yourself and those around you. McAdam has a theory of the Big Five personality traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. These traits fit into each of the stages of the group development.
Tuckman's stages of development model explains the natural progression from the initial meeting to the final goodbye of teams. Bruce Tuckman's stages of development breaks down the phases teams go through and how the group's phase relates to a team's ability to plan, overcome obstacles, brainstorm solutions, and succeed. The stages in order are forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Throughout the video, we will explore each of these stages along with the theories that correspond to them. I'll begin by introducing the first two. Forming. During the forming stage, the group becomes oriented to the task, creates ground rules, and tests the boundaries for interpersonal and task behaviors. The team performance during this stage is moderate to slightly below moderate. Following the forming stage, the group reaches the storming phase, which is a time of intergroup conflict where the team lacks unity and there is polarization around interpersonal issues. Performance of the team is poor during this stage.
In the ball toss challenge, one person had to throw a ball in the air while simultaneously catching and throwing another ball before the first was dropped. We had to get all the way around a circle without dropping the ball. In the knot tying challenge, we had to physically untangle each person's knot without letting go of the entire rope, requiring us to all move through the ropes to untangle ourselves. These two challenges were some of our earliest in the semester. We didn't know each other's communication styles and strengths, which led to weak leadership and unclear strategies. In the ball toss, we couldn't decide on the best order or countdown method. And in the knot tying, we started too fast before thinking of a solid plan, ultimately leading to setbacks. These align with the idea of forming, as we were uncertain of team roles. We also experienced storming during these early challenges. The knot tying and ball throwing challenges were part of our first amazing race, where we lacked a cohesive plan We didn't have a process conflict, which related to unclear disorganization and a lack of role clarity that limited our success.
There are 3 types of conflict. 1. Task conflict that arises from disagreements about tasks and project goals. 2. Social/relationship conflict that relates to personal conflict between group members. And 3. Process conflict that focuses on disagreements about plans and how to achieve goals. It is important to note that open communication and frequent mild conflict can be beneficial, as it leads to brainstorming and discussion. Intense conflict, however, can be detrimental to team success.
Openness allows individuals to be receptive to new ideas and experiences, which is important for starting to understand the team and each other's strengths and weaknesses. The idea of extroversion is also important. The extroverted people in our group are more likely to initiate interaction and social connections, but they must ensure that introverted people are also being heard and included in the group.
The third stage in Tuckman's model is norming. In this stage, the group develops cohesion and roles and norms are established. Group performance in this stage rebounds from the poor performance seen in storming and begins improving on its way to performing. It's worth noting here the importance of roles. Successful teams assign roles to each individual, which outline the behaviors expected of them. Each person must understand their responsibilities, what is required to fulfill their responsibilities, how performance is evaluated, and the consequences of not meeting expectations. Understanding the aforementioned not only outlines the importance of each member to the group, but also helps the individual understand their importance to the team in achieving team success.
Goal setting is something we learned was going to be necessary for our success, not just for our performance, but for building relationships and confidence in the team. We learned how to use the SMARTER framework to make our goals specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-based, evaluated, and rewarded/relevant. Early on, we were making goals to get an outcome, but by starting to focus on performance and process goals, such as improving communication and making sure everyone contributed in their own way, we were able to see a lot of improvement in our outcomes as well. In the pipe and cup challenge, we had to angle 5 pipes in a strategic way to transfer a ball into a cup without dropping the ball or balancing it in the pipes. During the challenge, we started to assign each other specific responsibilities, holding the start, adjusting angles, guarding the middle, and the final execution drop. We started to learn each other's strengths and were able to encourage each other. This is a pivotal stage of norming for our group.
Conscientiousness allows the group to be aware of one another and start to establish a clear plan and rules for succeeding. This allows everyone to be heard and makes sure everyone knows the plan and their specific role. Agreeableness at this stage allows people to be polite and compassionate while also making sure their opinions are heard. It is important to resolve conflicts and decide on a way to overcome disagreements during planning and task execution.
The fourth stage is performing. In this stage, the team really hits their stride and becomes a problem-solving machine. Group members adapt and play roles that enhance the task activities. Therefore, it is notable here that roles become flexible and functional instead of rigid and uncompromising. The team performance is maximized in this stage.
In the blindfolded conga line challenge, we had to navigate an obstacle course as a group while blindfolded, relying on a non-verbal communication of the person in the back who had their eyes open. The goal was to find a tennis ball in the area. In the paddleboarding challenge, we had to get the entire group across a certain distance without falling into the water. After 2 weeks of reflection, we started to trust each other and collaborate, which is a part of the performing stage. The conga line allowed us to use non-verbal cues and a designated leader to direct the group towards success. In the paddleboarding challenge, we were able to rotate roles naturally to make sure everyone crossed. We succeeded in both of these challenges the first time around, showing our growth as a team.
All the 5 big traits are important during the performance stage. It is important to mention that low neuroticism allows the team to stay calm and productive while dealing with stressful tasks. With low levels of neuroticism but higher levels of other traits, our group learned to perform in a smart and collaborative way. The self-determination theory explains our 3 psychological needs and lead to more positive forms of motivation. Autonomy relates to sharing leadership moments with each other to make sure all voices are heard. Competence relates to growing within throughout challenges as a team. Relatedness relates to creating through an emotional connection with each other. Although we started out without clear goals or confidence, we started to believe in our team with each success. Our motivation not only grew from external wins, but from supporting each other and working together as a team.
Part of the self-determination theory is motivation, which can be explained by a continuum of maintaining various forms of motivation over time. Amotivation is a lack of motivation. External motivation, which we experience early on, is working towards a goal for a reward or avoiding problems. There are 4 types of external motivation, with each one reaching more towards intrinsic motivation and therefore high self-determination. External regulation is motivation driven by external pressure. Introjected regulation is the idea of internalizing external pressures. Identification is the act of identifying with an activity's values, even if you don't enjoy the activity. Integration is the act of integrating the activity with your values and beliefs. This helps us reach self-determination. Intrinsic motivation is motivation for the inherent pleasure and satisfaction an activity brings. By learning how to make each of us feel autonomous, competent, and connected, we were able to find excitement and satisfaction in problem solving.
And now we reach the adjourning stage, because all good things must come to an end. After successfully working together, this stage is where the team wraps things up, reflects on achievements, and ideally celebrates a job well done. The adjourning stage emphasizes the need for proper closure and reflection, as well as dissolving the team and potentially transitioning members to new areas.
The first type of leadership is laissez-faire, which involves a passive voice. Leaders tend to avoid decision-making and responsibility. Followers often lack direction and feel uncertain about their role, and team members often experience conflict with one another. At the beginning of the semester, our group's leadership style was related to laissez-faire, as we had little direction and structure while waiting for someone to take the lead. The next type of leadership is transactional, which is focused on providing rewards or threatening punishments. Once we started to find roles in our group, our leadership became more transactional, with the goal of winning competitions and achieving challenges. Transformational leadership is often classified as the most effective because there is motivation beyond self-interest and a will to do more than what is expected. These types of leaders are characterized by high standards and charisma, leading with feedback, communication, and individualized attention. If we had more time together, we believe we would have achieved transformational leadership. This takes time, but our cooperation and communication were on the right track towards this type of leadership.
Overall, we have learned that leadership truly is active. It is not stagnant but constantly grow. It's not about proving to each other what we can do, but rather using what we can do to help the entire group succeed. Once we truly let everyone have a voice and focus on the group rather than the individual, we can really start to perform.
By the end of the semester, our main goal was to allow leadership to rotate by having a new leader assigned before each challenge to practice adaptive leadership and allow everyone to work on leading a team in their own way. And now, meet the people and the roles that brought it all to life.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Tony, I'm the hype captain, handing the phone to the team negotiator.
Hi, I'm Marco, and I'm handing the phone to the team delegator.
Hi, I'm Samantha, and I'm handing the phone to the content creator.
Hi, I'm Azza, and I'm passing the phone to the team's Ray of Sunshine.
Hi, I'm Yoop, and I'm passing the phone to the fastest man alive.
My name's Sam, and I'm passing the phone to the bridge builder of the group.
My name's Jack, and I'm passing the phone to the vlogger.
Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm passing the phone to the idea generator.
Hi, I'm Ada, I'm passing the phone to the timekeeper.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm passing the phone to the scorekeeper.
I'm Bailey, and I'm passing the phone to the devil's advocate.
I'm Brody, and I'm passing the phone to the paddle master.
Hi, I'm Graydon, and we're the Wave Warriors.